I thought, gee, I think I've seen that before, but it's been a long time since I've seen honor like that. And then I remembered, oh yeah, we have seen this before. Not on television in a bogus movie or a bogus TV show, but in real life. Watch this.
I told you that I was going to tell it to you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of it has been ugly for me. I don't know how many other witnesses have gone through the ordeal that I have before arriving here and seen their names smeared all over the newspapers and by some members of this committee. But I committed when I raised my right hand and took an oath as a midshipman that I would tell the truth. And I took an oath when I arrived here before this committee to tell the truth. And I have done so, painful though it may be for me and for others.
Okay, where is that honor today? Host of War Stories, Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North joins me now. Colonel, good to talk to you, sir. I thought of you earlier this morning because I was in my office and I'm thinking about this whole torture thing. And look, here's the thing. I really truly believe there are times, and September 11th was one of them, when everyone said, do whatever you have to do to get the information, because at the time we were all afraid that some city was going to be vaporized. We thought another thing was coming our way. As it turns out, it was. And nobody wanted to know anything about how we got the information. I just want somebody in the administration, any administration, if they do these things and they make the tough calls, to square their shoulders and sit there in front of Congress like you did and said, you damn right I did it, and I'll do it again. And if you want to put me in jail, then put me in jail. I have no regrets for protecting my country.
Well, let me offer a little perspective here. 67 years ago today, 79,000 U.S. and Filipino troops completed the Bataan Death March, and thousands of them were tortured and starved to death. They had their fingernails pulled out, they were disemboweled, infected, poisoned, radiated, deprived of food, had their bones broken, all in the name of medical science. Or you can read what happened to U.S. POWs in Vietnam, like John McCain, who really were tortured. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his criminal cronies had nothing like that done to them, Glenn. In 1965, I went through SEER school, Survival, Escape, Resistance, and Evasion, in Nevada. We were all waterboarded, all stuffed into hot boxes for hours, left to stand naked in, that may be a word picture you don't need at this point in my life, but naked in the cold, pushed around in exactly like the same manner that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and his cronies were. The goal was to teach those who might be captured how to survive and resist. The U.S. interrogators for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and these other detainees all had that same experiences. The consequences of what Mr. Obama and his O team have done is that America's enemies are going to use these published documents against us for decades to come. That criminal charges will equal enormous risk and a risk-averse culture for our military and intelligence services. And the trials, if they have them, will go on for years and ruin good men and women. It will cost millions. The discovery process will be a nightmare.
Ollie, let me ask you this. Look, I have family members who are in the military. I know what they have to do. I know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They are risking their life every day. Now, if you go and you grab somebody off the battlefield or you take them in, it's important sometimes to get information from them. We don't get information. Aren't we just we're going to shoot everyone on the battlefield. It will hurt our nation. It will also go into more killing, but you have no choice. You will just shoot everyone because you're not going to let these people go. You're not going to let them work the judicial system or anything else. You're just going to kill all of them. Yes or no?
Well, and I've been on plenty of those raids with our Spec Ops guys out there who want to get the intelligence.
Right.
The intelligence is valuable. Now, and of course, for any American detained, any person detained by an American unit knows that person is worth a lot more alive than they are dead. Now, the consequences, however, is going to be a whole lot less intelligence.
Right. And the other part of that is our CIA. Even though Barack Obama says, "Oh, we're not going to go after the CIA. We're not going to go after the guys who did any of these things." Just the White House. If people are out in the field and they see the White House being taken down, a president being taken down, or his closest advisors, And then I come to you and say, hey, by the way, I need you to go get this guy. Get this guy, go get the information. It's just between us, me and you, CIA. That's it. Who in their right mind is going to do that?
There are officers in our intelligence agencies today who are being told today, go get your own lawyers. Okay, because they're concerned about the fact that the agency itself can no longer represent them, because the agency lawyers are now the ones that are going to be called literally on the carpet, perhaps even criminally indicted themselves.
It's an outrage.
I know what the special prosecutors can do to somebody. This would be astounding, and there are lawyers lining up in this town who want to be part of that. It's an outrage, Glenn. It should never have happened.
Colonel, you tell me, who would serve in our military? This will destroy not only anybody advising the president. Nobody's going to give advice to the president. This has never happened before. We didn't go after Abraham Lincoln for habeas corpus. We didn't go after Truman. We didn't go after FDR. We didn't go after any of these guys on things like this because it was wartime. Now we're going here. Who's going to advise the president and who's going to serve in our military?
No, what will happen is we will emasculate the decision makers in our military and the intelligence service. It happened, the Church and Pike commissions in the 70s, Jimmy Carter was all behind them. It eviscerated America's human intelligence capability. It took years to rebuild it with Bill Casey as the director of Central Intelligence. And the consequences of what they're doing today will be to eviscerate it again.
Okay. Colonel, thank you very much. I appreciate your service, sir, and thank you very much for your frank conversation. Now, by the way, an additional, I think it's 21,000 U.S. troops en route to Afghanistan, among them special operators like those covered in last week's edition of War Stories Inside Special Ops. I don't know if you saw it, the War Stories team went behind the scenes with the toughest soldiers, the sailors, the airmanes, the Marine. You can find it now at foxnews.com/warstories. Get a copy of this special show by Oliver North. Okay.